Welcome to Heartfelt with Julie Majarison, a space for honest stories, tender truths, and soul-deep conversations. I'm your host, Julie Majarison, and here we explore the questions that stir something real in us. Questions about joy, fear, healing, and the moments that shape who we are. Each episode is an invitation to slow down, go deeper, and hear the kind of stories that remind us we're not alone in this human experience. So wherever you are right now, thank you for being here. Let's begin. Welcome to Heartfelt with Julie Majarison podcast. I have this amazing guest who is in actually India at the moment, but she does live in Tasmania, and her name is Reema. Reema is an identity rebirth coach and human design specialist. She works with intuitive leaders who are done playing small and are ready to own who they are without apology. Her work blends human design, nervous system regulation, deep identity work, so people don't just learn something new. I love this. They become someone new. She trains leaders to trust themselves, hold powerful spaces, and guide real transformation, not surface level change. I just get goosebumps. This is right down my alley. Welcome, Reema. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And thank you for having me here.
Oh, my pleasure. How is India at this time in your world?
It's beautiful. We actually have in my state and a few states in the country, we have the New Year festival on at the moment.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a time of festivities and dancing and lots of yummy food. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Is it a bit of a culture change? Like, obviously, culture is not the right word. Climate change is what I meant to say. From Tasmania to India, what's the weather like?
Well, it's pretty good, but where my parents live, it's very humid. So we get we get a lot of rainfall here. So humidity, of course, is a huge difference because Tasmania is pretty dry. But otherwise, I think I've got good weather this time. So I'm feeling
Ah,
lucky.
very good. Because Tasmania can be a bit chilly most times of the year.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So you probably don't have to pack as many clothes to go back home.
No, actually, that's really good. And you know what? I'm a tropical girl at heart. So I do love, I do love coming back and yeah.
And getting your yearly fix.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now, Reema, is there anything you'd like to share before I start asking you the 10 questions?
No, I think we can start.
Okay, and we'll see where we go. Yeah.
Yes.
What brings you joy, Reema?
Ooh, I think life.
Life?
Mm,
Yeah.
just, the ups and downs. And I think I have come a very long way in this journey. I'm nearly 50. And just, I think, getting an opportunity to actually live this life, yeah, okay, I'll say something. I'm an obstetrician-gynecologist, right? I used to work as a doctor here. And this is something I tell people, like the chance of you being born as you was so minuscule, it's not funny,
True.
right? And the
Mm.
fact that they have done so much research now on the whole egg and the sperm coming together. You are chosen to be born. The egg actually chooses the sperm.
Wow.
And then to think that you don't amount to anything is the biggest lie in the world.
Mm.
And to have the opportunity to live this life, however hard, however easy, however you look at it, the fact that you are here, living, breathing, experiencing this amazing world, I think is joyful in itself.
Wow, so you had quite a career change.
Ooh. We'll talk about my identity rebirths in a moment.
I'll leave that all up to you. So it certainly brings you joy, the life that you're living at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. What fear do you have that you're aware that's holding you back? Is there any?
Hmm, I don't think so at the moment. I actually no.
Very good. You've
Hmm.
you've worked through them all.
I'm working through them all. I think things do come up, and I mean, there's just those usual fears of like losing family members and all of that, which is part of life. But per se, I don't really have any like big fears. I think the only thing that's it's not a fear, but I just feel like I hope I have done enough to raise a child who will contribute in this world, like my daughter. Apart from that, I think I'm pretty good, and like I said, we keep navigating fears. Fears are never going to go away.
No.
If
No.
you even look from the human design perspective, lot of people like me, we have splenic fears, which are existential fears and fears in the moment. Most of us have fears in the moment, and the only thing I'll say is that feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, that's my philosophy too. Yeah. Yeah. Susan Jeffers' book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had a life-changing moment?
A few.
Is there one that really stands out?
um I think my biggest one is, and I've not shared.
You
I
don't you
don't think
don't have to share.
Oh, no, no, I'm more than happy to share. I'm more than happy to share. um like I was just saying, I don't think I have shared it in a, like, in a public space like this, but I'm more than happy. I think my miscarriages
Oh.
after I had I think that was my biggest life changing. Not
Mm.
one moment, 4 moments.
Mm.
Yeah, but we started with the first one. So I think that really changed how I look at things, how I perceive things. Even though I was quite far along in my healing journey because of what had happened in the past, but I got to that point and I was questioning everything in my life. But I think that was what kind of really shifted everything in me.
Mm. Has there been a moment that you wish you could freeze in time?
The first time I saw my daughter's face
Mm.
when I gave birth, and I was like, "Whoa, this is like, if I could just have that moment again." I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that was the best.
Yeah. Especially, oh yeah. Do you have a trigger that you're aware of that you'd like to share about?
Yeah, it's not a huge one, but I do get triggered by when people are not loyal.
Mm.
For me, loyalty is big.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe not quite a trigger, but it does, you know, it can rub me the wrong way sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
certainly brings up something within you. Yeah.
yeah. Because I feel community and connection are for humans, right? That's what sets us apart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
moving. Sorry.
No, yeah, I
Oh,
said yeah. Yep.
yeah. Yeah. And so I feel, you find your people, and it takes a while to find your people, and you put your trust in people. And when that trust gets violated, it hurts very deeply. And
Mm.
I think loyalty is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I tell my friends, once you are in my life, you literally have to drag me out of your life. I'm going to go out kicking and screaming. I'm not leaving you, till I absolutely have to.
Oh, that's beautiful. If a genie could jump out of the bottle and grant you one wish, what would that be?
I want the same life.
Okay. Yeah. You'd have it all the same again?
Absolutely the same.
Hmm. Wow. That's lovely insight. What is something that you've never said out loud, but you wish someone would ask you about?
Hmm. Who am I really behind every mask? Who is Reema?
So can I ask you, who is Reema?
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. Yeah. Reema is so many things, and I think that's it. And, like sort of really talking into identity rebirth, if I really take you down the human design, I think it'll be easy to explain. I have an open identity center, which means I'm like a chameleon. I change and I shift as I meet people, and people with open identity centers really question their lovability, because the question is, if people don't know, if the person I'm talking to doesn't know who I really am, how can they love me? Right. And that is a big part of open identity people. But I had always realized, even growing up, nobody really saw who I was, so it was almost like they saw, they would project onto me. So I was
Mm.
projection, oh yeah, maybe she's like this, maybe she's like that. But the real me, like there's so many facets to the real me, and it takes time to get to know the real me. And I just felt like people never had the time. When you have so many facets to the personality, you'll have to sit and go through all those facets and,
Mm.
observe someone, how they navigate things, and, how they shift and change. But yeah, I don't think, like I said, I just felt like maybe people just never have had the time to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's great. I'm pleased I could ask you about that.
Thank you.
Mm. When was the last time you truly felt seen, and what was it about that moment that has stayed with you?
Ooh, truly felt seen. Hmm. I'll have to think about that one.
We can come back to it.
I'm just thinking, I don't think I've really truly felt seen.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Mm.
I've kind of accepted, I do realize, there's a lot of self-awareness in the fact that I know I'm quite mysterious, not by choice, but just the way I am, and so I don't really hold any blame if people don't really see me.
Mm.
And yeah, and there's other stuff in there too, but yeah, but it's okay. But I've never really felt truly seen for who I am.
Mm. Well, that's still on your list to achieve maybe for this lifetime.
Yep,
Yeah.
maybe.
If you could send one message back to your younger self, message and not advice, what would that be?
You are hot.
You're hot.
Don't think otherwise. It was funny because I was going through my old photos. I went to stay with a friend and she pulled out her old photos, and my mom did here. And I'm going, holy shit. Sorry. I was like, God, I was born. And I was like, what was I doing thinking, when I was a 20-year-old, that, I need to fix my hair, need to fix my, all this, just, yeah. And I'm like, looking back, I was like, I'll have that. Can I have that back?
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that a great connection to have with the inner self now?
Yes. Yes.
Rather than picking on that photo, you've actually enjoyed,
Oh,
and
yeah.
loved.
Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed looking through the photos, and I went, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that so good? What does healing look like for you right now, Reema?
I think healing right now is, just not just accepting, but completely embracing who you are. Every quirk, every oddity, everything that makes you you, because there is nobody else like you, and to actually, and I always say that accepting yourself, embracing who you are, is the biggest gratitude you can put out in the world,
Mm,
for being made as you,
mm,
trying not to pick on little things, big things. For me, that's what healing is.
yeah. Beautiful. Mimi, you got through those questions very quickly. Is there anything that you'd actually like to elaborate on or share, or why the change in the career, why India and now Tasmania? The floor is yours. What would you like to share?
Thank you. I think I would like to talk a little bit about identity rebirth and why
Yeah,
it's so important, sort of especially moving forward and also for the next generation.
yeah,
Why it will be so important to know who you are and just navigate world as you. So like coming from like my story, I was trained as a doctor. I was raised to be a doctor. That was my father's dream, that I be a doctor. And I did. And not just a doctor, he wanted me to be an obstetrician-gynecologist because my mom's an obstetrician-gynecologist. And I did that. But I think along the way I realized, and I have to say, not boasting, but I was pretty good at it. I used to
mhm,
enjoy the surgery and stuff, of that, like that side of things. It was very exciting. But somewhere along the way, I realized that I'm good at it, but it's not something that really, sets my soul on fire. You do things like, I'm a generator. I'm good at a lot of things, but really finding that one thing that I can just carry through life. It was really hard for me to even accept that medicine was not that. So, and while I was sort of navigating that, I went through my first divorce. All of that came together, and I left the country to just, mostly to regulate myself. I worked somewhere for a year. There, I decided I'll go into sort of more like preventative medicine. So I went to Australia to study preventative medicine, fell pregnant, and just gave medicine up. Because when I had Nora, my daughter, I had decided that I was in my 30s and I wanted to be present. I was very particular about that. I wanted to be with her. I wanted to go through every stage of her, infanthood and everything. So give up medicine because there was no way I could do medicine and be a, you know, completely present
yeah,
mom.
yeah.
And I think it was such a big thing for me because I was raised like I say I was raised by expectations, my parents' expectations, and you become good at what you do, and it's just the dynamic just changes. So just giving all that up suddenly, and then waiting for my parents to come in terms with that. Then also, like this was 2008 when I initiated my divorce. It was unheard of in those times in India. Divorce
Mm,
itself was unheard of. There was so much stigma around it. And then the girl initiating the divorce was absolutely unheard of. So I was then navigating that, coming out of that, part of my life, and then moving to Australia, decided to give up medicine. So there was this huge shift that was happening in my life. And like motherhood itself was such a big thing. So without realizing, I was navigating a lot of things.
mm,
So yeah, but sort of that I think that was my first identity rebirth. That was my first, when I went, okay, this is not for me. What am I going to do next? Or who am I going to be next?
yeah.
And I chose to be a mother.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So sorry. Yes, I chose to be a mother. And then after that, I sort of, when my daughter was around a year and a half, I was at home. I was always used to working, right? Come, I'm a generator. I love working, I love doing things. And I just felt like she had started daycare and I was like, I have a few days in hand. I don't know what to do. So I went and started a skincare brand.
Oh,
I started for my daughter. I started making things for her. And then I gave some as gifts, and then that took off. And then I ran a skincare brand, a natural handcrafted skincare brand for 10 years. So that was my second identity rebirth, like from a
mm,
doctor, then mom, then entrepreneur, and sort of at the end of like kind of when I got to like the 7 year mark, I was always coaching, anyways, counseling. Like medicine has so much counseling built in it. When I was talking to women who would come and talk to me about skincare products, I was coaching them. So coaching was always there, it was just not on the surface.
Mm.
And then part of my healing journey, I went to study human design because that fell into my lap. I loved the system. And then constantly doing work on myself because I realized there was so much I needed to heal from
Mm.
what that had happened. My divorce was it was quite a big thing. And just healing from all of that. And then I just decided and I'm one of those people, like I would do a course, like let's say I studied human design, studied all the levels, and I told my mentor, I need to know more. I just need to know more. She goes, well, then do a certification, become a specialist. So the idea was never to become a coach, but the whole idea was for me to know, to the deepest level that I could about the system. And same happened with my mindfulness course because I became a mindfulness meditation teacher, went into positive neuroplasticity with a neuropsychologist in America, then did human design, then did EFT, all of that. But I just can't, like I said, I can't sit on the surface. Like I know there's more to know. So, and when I did that, I think the coaching it was just a natural evolution, I think, from that. And it's so important to embrace. And I'll talk into the whole open identity because 50% of the population has an open identity. 50% of us do not have a consistent life path. And you say what we do. Because in human design, identity and purpose, especially purpose, is not what you do. Purpose is who you are. So for someone who has a defined identity, said, I'm so sorry, I don't have a human design chart or I would have showed it to you. So if you have a defined identity center, it's like the diamond in the middle that's yellow in color. So if
I'm gonna get mine up because it's like you were talking about this before and it's like, what am I? So yeah, I don't where am I looking? Can you I
can
don't
you
know.
see?
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, so yours is open. Can you see the diamond in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's open. Can you see?
Yeah.
You are a splenic projector, and so the diamond is open. So you are somebody who has a fluid identity, a fluid sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And you may have gone through your own set of rebirths, and plus, like you said about your profile 6-3, and we'll talk a little bit into that because it just makes me laugh, like just the chaos in the 6-3. I just love it.
The chaos in 6-3. Do I want
Because
to
I'm a
know?
three. I know. I'm a 3, so I know what the 3 does, right? I love it. I love it. Because every part of human design is just, I mean, you know what? You can talk heavy, you can talk of trauma and stuff, but it's also hilarious, the things that come out, right? And that's how I do coaching. There's always the fun side of things. But like with identity, with open identity, it has to be okay for someone with an open identity to be able to navigate life in different ways, to accept that, yes, I don't have a consistent life path, I don't have a consistent purpose, and that's who I am. My changeability, my malleability, my chameleon like nature is who I am, is my purpose in life. Because I'm sitting here talking about identity rebirth. If I wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't be here. Right? And that is what you're putting out in the world. That's what you're learning from the world. So and then you have the defined identity people who, people like they start this one job in life when they're 20 and that's what they do for their entire life. And you look at them and you go, why can't I be disciplined and consistent like them? So, but no, that's not how
Here we
we are
are.
doing. Yeah. So, and that is very, very important. And that sort of that acceptance of who I am and how I navigate things, how I understand things, it's so important because we are moving into we are actually in a very interesting phase on the planet right now. I don't know if you've realized, or you may have heard lots of people talking about why is time moving so fast? It's like the last few years have just gone and I didn't even know what I did. So it's like if you look at a spinning top or something, just before it ends, it speeds up, and that's where we are on the planet right now. So like really going into that. So okay, should I get a bit nerdy here?
You do nerdy. You do
Yeah, I'm
nerdy.
sorry. All
Nerdy's
right.
good.
That is good. Okay. So just talking of like astronomical, astrological, human design, putting it all together. So the Earth has two big cycles. The first is its revolution around the sun. So that is one cycle that is very, very prominent. But there is another cycle that the Earth does not sort of revolve, but it's on an axis. So the Earth is on a tilted axis like that. So it's not straight up. And that axis rotates. Right? It's a very slow moving rotation. So it takes about 26,000 years for that axis to complete one rotation. So that 26,000 year cycle is broken into 8 smaller cycles. Yeah. Now,
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So each of those 8 smaller cycles are then broken down into 6 epochs.
Mm.
So each of those epochs lasts about 400 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are at the end of one of those 400-year cycles this year.
Oh, okay.
So, and it'll be interesting when I tell you the examples of what's happening, and it'll suddenly just make sense. So we are coming out from what is called the cross of planning, which lasted 400 years. Into, I think 1641 was the last change, and we are moving into, I'll have to check that date though, but so we are moving into the cross of the sleeping phoenix in 2027. So start of a new 400-year cycle. So the background frequency of the planet is completely changing. The other thing that's changing with that change, so that's the first change that's happening. Second change is we are mutating as a race. The human design chart is changing. So the generation of human beings coming post 2027 will have a different human design chart than you and me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a mutation happening, and that completely changes everything. And sort of going from that, so the cross of planning, it was all about systems. So look at the way life has been for us, right? There's a school system, there's the legal system, there's the defense system, there is the hospital system, like the healthcare system, right? Everything is systemized and is a framework. And you just kind of fit into the system, and that's it. So let's say I was born in a certain area, and then I went to a certain school, and you kind of belong to that community. You didn't have a choice to belong to that community. You just belong. So the cross of planning was a very tribal energy. So your community, you fit into the system, that system protects you. The cross of the sleeping phoenix is all about individuality.
Oh.
Identity. Who am I and what is my place in this world? Only through that you will find your community. Not because you have been asked to fit into a community or a tribe. So, and it's interesting, you may have seen, like, in the last 10 years or so. So when the cross changes, about 5 to 10 years before the cross and after the cross changes, you'll start seeing the shifts. Like the mutation that's happening in the chart, digestion of meat by human beings will go down, like not for us, but for the upcoming generation. Veganism is on the rise. Right? Can you just see like the shift? Like we have all these children who are being diagnosed with, autistic, on the autistic spectrum. So the next generation that's coming up. So this is just a glimpse of what's coming. So the next generation that's coming up, they'll be very, very consciousness minded than the physical. There'll be more like consciousness. They'll all be talking about consciousness. Look at how much we are talking of consciousness right now. Everybody's talking about consciousness. Everybody's talking about identity. Right? Yeah. And then sort of moving forward again, the whole, because it was about, it's going to be about individuality, the chart is changing. The whole needing to have children to propagate the species is going to go down. People will only have children when they absolutely feel they want to have children. And if you look at what's happening now, homosexuality is on the rise, right? Not on the rise, but we are more aware of it, where people are choosing not to have children. these are just little glimpses of what is actually coming in the next 400 years.
Wow.
And it'll not start immediately, but you can already see the shifts. You can already see systems breaking down, alternative schools coming up, people not trusting the political system, people not trusting the police system, and all of that in different countries. So, so that is the shift. And that's why identity is going to be so important. Who are my people and where do I truly, truly belong?
Yeah. Yeah.
You will probably start relating more with generators and projectors, because you'll go, oh my God, they totally get me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so that is the shift that is happening in the planet right now.
Wow, thank you very much for sharing all that. That is very interesting. Now, if anyone wants to connect with Reema, have a look below. All the details are there, and you can reach out to Reema through her platforms. And I really appreciate you giving up your time while you've been, catching up in India. And I'm pleased that I could have this opportunity, Reema.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Julie. I have
Oh,
thoroughly enjoyed myself.
yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing this moment with us. I hope something in this conversation stayed with you, opened something up in you, or simply made you feel seen. If this episode moved you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to continue this journey with us, be sure to subscribe and stay connected. Until next time, take care of your heart. And remember, your story matters. Thank you, Reema.
Thank you so much.